It's AJ.
And Darah. Here we are, deep skydiving.
Skeep diving. Yeah.
Deep skydiving, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Deep Sky.
Deep skydiving.
Oh, she got. Go ahead.
I don't know. That's
Go ahead.
not
Do
really.
it again. I missed it.
I don't have much more. Than
Oh, all
that.
right.
So, deep skydiving.
Deep skydiving. Yeah. We can
And action.
go. And action. Heavenly Father, we come to you right now as humble as we know how. Just asking that you forgive us and the hearers for our sins. I know they might not be asking for themselves, Father, so I'm asking for them.
Yes, God.
Have your way at this time. Let this be the best podcast ever. Oh, this is going to be a good one, God. Let our words come through with clarity and let the hearers receive with understanding and wisdom that may only come from you. Let us grow in togetherness. And let us grow in love and in compassion for one another, Father. It's in your precious Son, Yahushua's name, I ask you all these things. Amen.
Amen. Welcome to another episode of Deep Skydiving.
Yeah, that's you. You gotta hit that. Welcome to another episode of
Deep Skydiving. I'm gonna get that recorded.
I'm gonna put the beat behind that. The cold-blooded beat behind
Let
it.
me know when you wanna lay the track down. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I got
I'm
a
good
studio.
for a bar or two, huh?
I got a studio. My man got a studio.
All right, I'm ready.
All right.
Welcome to
You
Deep
not ready-
Skydiving.
You're not ready to hop in no studio. It's your boy AJ.
It's your girl Darah. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody has had an amazing weekend, as I know that this will be coming on Tuesday.
Or whenever you listen to it, a
Yeah,
weekend
whenever.
had to pass. So
Yeah.
we just hope it was amazing.
Weekend, week. Just make it the best
Yeah.
that you could possibly make it.
Yeah.
So, last week's,
What was it about?
it was on romance.
Yes, it was.
And I think that there was something that I wanted to tie up. I did.
Yeah, me
Because-
too.
Okay, we'll start with you.
No, what's ladies first?
Okay, I'll take it.
Beauty before age.
We do like a. I had to think about that. Like, hold on, he coming with me. So I think. Just going back to what you were talking about in regards to how we fantasize a thing, and so sometimes it seems like it's kind of a pointless thing because sometimes we as women will see something as romance when it's not actually that. It's just that we are romanticizing a man who we like. Did I say that correctly first?
You're on track a little bit. You're not off.
We'll clear it up for the people so that then I can address it correctly.
No, go ahead because I want to hear what you're saying because you might be on track depending on what follows.
Well, you were. I just want to state the thing first, which was basically that you were saying, well, what is the point of me romancing if she's going to kind of like make up whatever she wants anyway if she likes me a certain amount. Does that make sense?
Kinda.
Well, then clear it up. Like I'm trying to get you to.
So what I was saying is, and you agreed that it's very subjective, and I could be doing something, and I could be doing something very romantic that it might have been romantic to you before, but because you're not there right now, it's not romantic towards you.
Got you.
Or you're not feeling romanced.
Right.
Because it's you, not me.
Right. So you're saying the reception of it is totally up to the receiver.
100%.
Like, you know, I guess
whether
not reception
we're
of it is
in
up
this
to the receiver
moment
because
of
that's
romance,
obvious, but
yeah,
the way that the person takes it.
right.
I can agree with you on that. But I think where I was going to go with it, and pardon me, guys, I'm very nasal because I was sick. But part of the...
It's allergies.
It's not allergies.
All right, go ahead.
But it wasn't COVID, though. No. Part of the thing that I wanted to encourage men, especially because this was coming from you, is the same thing that we kind of talked about off screen, which was don't stop, though. I think that what happens is there's a level of discouragement that happens. And if the girl does not like you, then that's another. We're having a different conversation. But if it's just a mood thing, right? If you shoot your shot and then it the bullet falls short or whatever, I wouldn't say don't at all continue the romance. It's just that it didn't work that day. Like, I don't want men to be discouraged because that woman is adding to, she's romanticizing you on her own, and then when she stops, then you're like, but I'm just doing the same thing that I was doing. Like, you still have to. I still feel like there's a level of calibration that is required in any relationship, because nobody stays the same at all times, especially not a woman.
I mean, that doesn't mean you stop forever, but I feel like we'll end up back here later on in this episode.
Sure,
anyway.
yes, we absolutely will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to tie up that part anyway, a little bit. But today's topic.
Hold up, nah. What about my recap?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that you did say that you won. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You see how they do us, fellas?
And then we apologize.
Some of the time. She does. She's a good one. She apologizes. Don't be trying to read up on my recap.
I can't read that.
Oh, all right, good. Hold up. Oh, all right. So you said something, and I know you'll clear this up or scold me. When you was like, the romance could stay on 10, like multiple things could be on 10.
Yes.
Like, when you say multiple, what is multiple things? Because I just refuse to believe that, like, you can have everything on 10. Like, this guy is a superhero.
No.
If he could be on 10 with, like, multiple things.
I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, people, but I believe that the question was in regards to, like, where I believe that romance should be. Mm-hmm. And when I said 10, to clear it up, what I was saying was, I feel like that's always something that you should have in your relationships, or at least strive for. But I don't think that that's an everyday thing. And again, just to continue to press the issue, I said that it's a spectrum too. And the only reason why I believe that it's a 10, that particular thing is a 10, is because romance involving the other person. Mm-hmm. So to me, I don't feel like in a real relationship, that type of thing can fall to the wayside. By the wayside, I think, because it causes, it causes there to be, I guess, heightened levels of insecurity sometimes, because you're not really necessarily involving the other person. Like, you're doing life. You guys can do life together. Like, that's, some people got that down. But just in, like, letting the person know that they're special. So to clear that up,
I think that's like early stages of a relationship, early stages of marriage type deal.
Okay.
Because the people I talk to that are married now, I mean, you got some people that still do the romantic things, and this came from women. The last 3 women I've spoken to that are married was like, romance is, for them, what they're greatly appreciative of, and what's romance for them is when her husband is helping with the kids, when he's washing the dishes. Like, because life involves so much more now, especially because they have kids, like, they're more appreciative of the husband helping her with what she mostly does, what she usually does in the household or in the relationship. And they say, yeah, going out is nice, but I think that it doesn't weigh as much anymore. And even the thoughtfulness things you was talking about, like, I think that's what. And I'm not speaking for every relationship. These are just the last 3 women I talked to this past week about it. But, like, the only reason I say I don't think it could be on 10 all the time is because, we compartmentalize. Us men, like, we can't. In order for my romance to be on 10 and spirituality be on 10, kids be on 10, finances be on 10 and everything, like, I would legit set up a autopilot situation.
Yeah, but I think that the reason why I'm saying it is not because I'm saying that you have to perfectly do it, more than it should be something, to me, I feel like it should be something that you strive for, because, again, it's involving the other person.
Everything
and again,
is,
I think, No, it's not. Sometimes you can get in a robotic, and we'll touch on it more in this discussion too. But sometimes I do feel like in life, you can check off all the boxes, but not at all involve the other person or be involved with the other person. And by that, I don't mean like, we are making sure we raise these kids together. I mean, like, me being able to, like, okay, so for example, you just said you spoke to 3 women, and a lot of them, their thing was, their husband helping them out with the kids is really what they're striving for. To me, what I heard you say was that their husband is speaking their love language, and their love language is acts of service.
All right.
Speaking a love language, if we go back to what I said about my definition of romance, is paramount. That's romance. To me, I don't think that it always looks like chocolate and roses and things like that. So, again, I feel like we're having the same conversation.
Yeah.
But I think that that's where, there's that huge miscommunication between men and women, because a lot of men may think that it's the flowers, it's the candy, it's the chocolate, it's, me making love to you on your favorite place or da 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 da. But for women, it's like, I just need you to consider me.
No, it's not the lovey-dovey stuff. We understand it's the doing, right? The thing is, it changes.
And that's okay, because everybody evolves.
And so
we change as people.
All right, we could go to it. The topic.
Okay.
Love and respect, right?
Yes.
I don't have, you got it, if you want to say it exactly how.
So the topic today was respect and love, what each means to both sexes, and what weighs more. So you, Buddy Rowe.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
So, instead of us saying what we believe weighs more to our respective sex, I think we should do what weighs more to the opposite sex, what we think and why.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it'll be the same, but I think it'll be nice just to hear the opposite side's perspective.
So I definitely feel that respect weighs more for men.
Why?
I believe that respect weighs more for men because as I'm learning, I think that men feel like to me, I feel like men feel like that's where things are most fragile. Men are looking to be, I'm trying to pick my words, guys. Please forgive me for this dead silence, but I think men are looking for not necessarily the accolades, but just somebody to, I'm trying to pick my words, guys, because I'm not trying
just say
to
it
be
and we'll try to
offensive.
figure it. Man, we're men.
Well, listen, I don't, that's not really the thing. I don't want to say something that I don't mean, is what I'm saying. It's not a matter of like me thinking
Well,
somebody gonna be
we could
mad
fix
at
it
me.
up. If you say something you don't mean, like, all right, well, I didn't mean it like that. We can fix it up. We can clean it up.
So I think that you all are looking for for someone to back you up. I think you all are looking for, like, in whatever, you guys are looking for that sort of like level of loyalty. You guys are looking for support. I think you guys are looking for someone to do life with, who is not going to critique you every step of the way. Somebody who's going to even affirm you in whatever step that you do take. Even if it does, set y'all back, like just somebody to be able to support you, somebody to be able to, pat you on the back. So, what are your thoughts?
Close.
No, I don't want you to tell me what if I'm right or not. I want you to tell me your side.
Love, of course.
Okay, and why do you say that?
But I think you just hit on a lot of it, actually. Even closing up on the romance piece, I think women are, I know you even said it, women are just the more emotional being than men are. And women would like to. They need to feel special. Like you see how romance is just so high up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that romance is love, but it's high up on y'all list because it's a part of that love. It's a part of being catered to. It's a part of feeling wanted, feeling like somebody special, feeling like you're a part of somebody's life. Help me out here.
So I mean, you're
Well, no, because when you go, I want you to,
okay.
because you know you're a woman. You know you're wired with womanhood.
Mm-hmm.
All the womanist wires up there that going off. So you could tell me everything regarding that whole love thing. I'm here to learn.
Me too. I'm here to learn as well. And I have learned a whole lot, like just in, just kind of like researching the topic because I'm not gonna lie, ladies or gents, that
Yeah.
a hard part for me, and I think this is something that a lot of women struggle with, especially because of the dynamics of our family.
Yes.
It's hard for me to the respect piece, especially like how that's so important for men. Sometimes it is something that I'm like, like really dog, like that, like that's what you need. You know what I mean? Like I can love you down, but you're looking for respect because here's the thing. And I told you.
I'm only laughing because that's how I feel about love. But go ahead.
Right, exactly. Like it makes sense in a sense that like when I look at what love requires and what I look at what respect requires, it makes sense that why that's something that men, would run with, and that would be so important to you guys because even I was doing a devotion and the author was saying that like men feel like love is a defaulted thing. Like that's something that like you're just gonna get. Like so it's not something that you really have to fight for. It's not something that you have to constantly look for because you feel like it's just there, right? That's something that you can get. But the respect thing is not it's something that's very rocky. Like it's not something that you can like necessarily, put, 10 toes down on in your relationship because that's something that is so easily like given and or taken from you. And I think, ladies, it's important for us to see that that is something that is so easily given and taken, which is why it was hard for me to understand because I feel like that's the reason why it's hard for me to really wrap my mind around like why that is something that men hold so high and near and dear to them when that's something that anybody can give or take from you. Give or take, like literally,
So
it's so fragile
it's actually
to me.
not. That's I'm while you're saying this, I'm thinking, isn't that love that y'all are seeking the same thing? Wouldn't that be the
Absolutely,
same thing?
yes, absolutely. But in my mind's eye, I feel like if God is love, then everybody deserves love. God is not respect in my mind's eye. No, nobody said even in the biblical sense, and you please correct me, like
Oh,
give me the
we gonna
scripture and
go.
everything. I don't remember it being God is respect. I remember it being God is love, right? So at the very basis of you being a human being, I feel that everybody deserves love. The thing about us, right, as women, and this is something that I'm going to claim, is that we feel like love is so fragile. And love shouldn't be fragile. Love should be defaulted, just like how men feel. Men feel that love is defaulted. Like
We don't
this
feel
is what
like
we
that, though.
deserve.
So when you say men feel like love should be defaulted,
Right, like that's
define
like,
that love that we feel should be defaulted.
like that's not something that you have to worry about. Like that's something that you're gonna have. Like you don't have you if I shut down, like you're not concerned about if I still love you. You're concerned about the respect of it. Like you're shutting down, like we're not participating in our relationship. Like you're not thinking, oh well, does she really love me? I don't know. You're thinking about, no, but it's disrespectful that you would even stop talking to me. We're having a conversation, or that you would shut down, or blah blah blah.
So for us, the love is in the respect.
Right.
Like we don't feed off of the emotional part of it. Well, I'm not gonna say all men don't. You have some men that are,
Very emotional.
yeah, and but I don't even still they need a certain level of respect. They're not feeding off of the emotion of love. Like I don't need somebody to come hug on me and I love you. I'm here for you. This and that. It's not. We like that. we appreciate it, but that's still respect for us. So like, you being there for me, you being loyal, that's the respect. That's how we know that you love us.
Right.
It's not, we just don't receive love the same way you guys do.
Right.
See, they're all kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
And we could play on words with it, but the respect, I can't even say why the respect means more to us. I could just say that's how
because
God
that's
wired
how you
us.
receive love.
That's just how God wired us.
Right.
Like it says, what is it? I think it's in Ephesians or something. I can't give you the addresses right now. You can Google it. But it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. And it says, women, revere your husbands, respect your husbands. That's not, like, we didn't come out the womb and grow up and our fathers taught us that your wives are supposed to respect you. That's just how we're wired. And it's not even just wives. It's people, period.
Right.
Like, respect is honor. Respect is an honorable thing. Like, when you're dealing in this world, you respect people. You give the respect that you want back. Just like Christ said with the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated. It's just a respect thing for us. I don't think we hold that as in a high regard. That's just who we are. It's like in our DNA that respect means more than almost anything else.
And I feel like, for me, the reason why it was so hard for me, Darah, to wrap my mind around it because, again, I don't feel like everybody respects you. I don't think that is something. I don't think that's something that everybody deserves either. So for a man to put so much emphasis in that, to me, even especially because a lot of men don't give it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's, it's not necessarily supposed to be a tit for tat situation, but for something to be so fragile like that, to me, right? For you to place all of your, eggs in that basket, it didn't make sense in my mind. But it doesn't have to make sense in my mind because that's not what's important to me. What's important to me is to feel love. And so I guess in just doing the research for this particular episode, what it opened my mind to is it doesn't have to make sense to you, Darah. This is how the man is wired, right? And at the end of the day, if my man is telling me that what he requires is respect, okay, well, let me find out ways that I can respect my husband.
That easy.
That's it.
And vice versa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to point out some things that happen because what usually happens in relationships is when a man doesn't feel respected, he doesn't show love. When a woman doesn't feel love, she doesn't show respect. And what happens is there are so many toxic relationships that are happening right now because they're going through that nasty, nasty cycle. I used to think, and I'm not afraid to be honest about it, I used to think that the only way that I could really respect a man is if he was able to show me love first. But I realize now, and I don't think it's selfish because I do feel like it is a soft place to land. I do feel like there is a level of you inviting me because then again, since you choose, right? Since you're the first choice, since you're the one who said,
don't use that now and then try to.
No, because you said that you are the chooser. I told you we make the last decision, right?
All right.
So if you choose and you're asking for me to be a part of your life, to me, it seems like you would then show me the ways in which you should be respected by loving on me, by showing me the ways in which you can love.
I don't think I could show you how to respect me. I think that's something that you have to pick up on during the relationship. But I also believe that there are like standards. Like there is a common way to show respect to your husband.
I agree, but I do think in courting, so remember we talked about romance starting in the courting stage. I believe that you're learning how to respect that man in the courting stage, and you're learning how to love that woman in the courting stage.
To an extent.
So I didn't say you learn everything.
Yeah.
But I think it has to start there. It has to.
Yeah, I believe it actually starts way before that.
Okay.
Way before that.
When you get to know the person?
No, way before that. Before you even meet this person.
Explain.
So, All right, we're just hitting on love and respect now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the scriptures, it says the older women to teach the younger women. You're supposed to raise them up in this, to house and respect their husbands.
Mm-hmm.
It tells them about I want to hit this later, so I don't want to use that word. But it's telling you to how to revere your husbands, and it's telling the men, you teach your sons, how to love your wives, how to adorn your wives and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I say I believe it starts before that. That's why I say there's commonalities where, like, respect is one thing all men want, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to initiate that. There's a way to show that you're a respectful woman just in the courting stage. It's not specific ways that they're looking for.
Right. I agree.
But yeah.
I agree. I think that you're absolutely right. And I think that's why it's so important that I said what I said when I was talking about that, the things that are passed down from our moms and so forth and so on. Because, I mean, we, come from, a lot of us women come from very, I wouldn't say out of order homes, but pretty much, right? So there are a lot of very docile, yes, there are some very, very docile husbands out there, like, just kind of like letting the wife, run amok. And this is not to say that he's necessarily giving her permission to do so more than she's just doing it, because then there's this level of complacency that has happened there. And a lot of us have seen it, right? Like, we have very strong mothers, they have this like strong will, they're doing things, they're out there, we say Black women get things done, right? And this is not just, Black women, but I know Black women because I am a Black woman. But I think what it shows us, though, is that, and even in my parents' relationship, I've had to sit with them and talk to them about love and respect. As somebody who's never been married, as somebody who has literally only, read, the word and, just kind of like did my own research, I was able to hear my stepfather and my mother have conversation to me, like, not telling their business, but just coming down to a point where they were just like ready to call it quits. And I was like, but Mommy, you're not respecting him. But Mr. Roosevelt, you're not loving on her. And it really was, it's never small, but what I want us all to just see is that, like, we are, and I'm speaking as the children, we're seeing this stuff. So we're thinking it's okay. It's not okay to not sleep in the bed with your wife every night. It's not okay.
I don't think we're thinking it's okay. I think it's just so you don't know that it's not okay because you don't know anything different.
Right.
So that's just what you're
that's
saying.
What I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, this is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Until somebody tells you, like, no, it's not.
Right.
Like,
but if you've seen it from generation to generation to generation, then you are going to roll your eyes when a man tells you, like, you're being real, like, high key disrespectful right now. It's like, nigga, like, boss up. Like, what? What? Like, are you really telling me that you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and I understand how even that, like I want to bring somebody. Yeah, I want to bring this to the attention of the audience, that you said that you didn't want to say a word because you want to bring it up later, and I rolled my eyes. Eye rolling.
I know what that was about,
disrespect, though.
Yeah.
But it's disrespect, and it's not. So I know that y'all are listening. Y'all are like, bro, like, Darah, like, come on, sis. Like, why are you saying this? But it really is, and we don't even realize how, like, we are being so disrespectful to a man in just the way that we gesture, in just our body language, like the things that we don't even say. A lot of times it's already like, punching y'all in the gut. And it's like, I'm expecting for you to just keep taking it. Meanwhile, I fall all the way apart if you don't answer a text back. You know what I'm saying? Like that, because with us, that disconnection is that fragility of the love that you have for us. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, you good. I was just thinking about something while you were saying that.
About?
I don't know why this was coming to my mind. It was when you're not getting your way,
or
when you're not getting fed something that you feel you need to get fed, right? Kids throw temper tantrums and react just so emotionally, and it never gets you a desired outcome.
Right.
And you said when you don't feel loved, you don't get respect. And when we don't get respect, y'all don't get love.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is not everybody, right? It's not in me. I can do it, but it's just not who I am to be disrespectful if I don't feel respected. If it makes sense. So
It does.
even when
It's goals.
even
But it
when
does.
my ex, you said it's what?
It's goals. Because I mean, sometimes it's hard to give respect to somebody who's disrespecting you.
So I don't give them respect. I just don't give them disrespect.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, so even like on social media, right? Everybody on the other side of the keyboard
Feels
is
like
tough,
yes,
especially women.
Gangsters, yeah.
Especially women. And I'm like, I don't understand who these women think they are talking to me like this. Like, how do you get off talking to men like this? Like, what
Right.
does that make you feel empowered? I'd be wanting to type that up. Like, do you feel empowered talking to me like this or something? Like, how do you respect me? How do you expect me to respond? Like, what are you looking for?
I have something to say to that.
What?
So the only way that I can explain this, and I hope that this, resonates with the ladies, because y'all know how we are, right? Speaking directly to y'all, women, we sometimes will say things that we don't even mean just to get a reaction, because a reaction is a connection.
I think that's when you're invested in each other.
That is.
These are
right.
complete strangers.
I know,
Oh,
but
yeah.
understand though that hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
I'm still shooting a shot, right? I'm still, trying to connect because I need a connection.
Yeah.
Because I'm acting out again, like you said, and I love that you started off with the kids thing. You're literally throwing a tantrum because we love to say, "Grow up." Be an adult, like da 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 da. But we don't realize that most of the people that we're talking to are literally living in the same trauma
Yes.
that they have been for years. Like I'm talking like back to 8. And they're still operating in that 8-year-old, mindset. And then they get on the internet and they're like using all these words that they learned when they were 17 and 20 and you know what I mean? To hurt you because they're hurt.
Now look, I'm gonna let you speak on the love side of it. I'm gonna speak on the respect side of it, right? So a lot of these young boys growing up with single parents, well, single mothers, a lot of so they're not even seeing how a man is supposed to be respected or how a man is to respect. And I witnessed myself a lot of these. Somebody just made a post about this the other day about how these women are cursing at their children and everything.
Yes.
So you're desensitizing this kid to accept disrespect.
Yeah.
So he unconsciously gets in relationships with women who disrespect men,
Yeah.
and it's gonna ruffle some feathers.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
But you have a Jezebel spirit that runs rampant, especially in our community, right? And what's dangerous is you have Jezebel spirits raising these boys, which turn these boys into Ahab men. And then
So
what?
you have to explain both.
Okay, so the Ahab man is the weak man. The Jezebel is the dominant male. It's just the dominant female wants to be this masculine. So we know in Genesis, just to go back,
Yeah. Give us a lesson.
the effects of the fall for disobeying God was that he told the woman, your desire will be for the man, but he shall rule over you. That's God said that. That wasn't me. That was Yahuwah that said that, the creator, Elohim. And he said, and also you will go through pain with childbirth, such and such, but there should be joy afterwards. And he told the man, you're going to have to work for the rest. You're going to till the ground. You're going to have to work to eat. You're going to have to work to live and provide for your whole family for the rest of the days of your life. So these are the things you're going to suffer. So women innately, 9 times out of 10, most of the time, have a desire to rule over man. Just innately. That's why when I say this Jezebel, right? The name Jezebel means unhusband. So it's even scarier when these are divorced women. Like once the stuff starts lining up and making more sense, these divorced women that emasculated men and they're raising boys. You're raising an emasculated boy. You can't even emasculate him because he's not even being raised to be a man at this point in time. And you might be thinking you're doing a very well job raising this boy, but you can't.
Right.
A woman cannot raise a man. I don't care what she says. I don't care how tough she is. I don't care what she says to this boy. You can't raise this boy without another man in his life. It's just not happening. But you're raising this Ahab boy. He's going to grow up and be a weak man, and then another woman is going to be one that takes advantage of him.
Right.
Or you're going to raise a mama's boy.
Right.
And then what we see in society today is women complaining about men not being men. Not understanding you raising one of the men that you despise.
Yep. Agreed. But I mean, with me having God kids, that's something that I bring up to my friends. Like, don't make him a weak dude, because he's gonna have to be somebody's husband one day.
You can't help it.
Right. Well, no. If some of them have fathers like in their lives that are actually both of them do. I only have two, but both of them have fathers who are active. But just on the mother's side, because there are things that we do to counteract what the father has already said, and that's also bringing a weak man into
and y'all
life.
have more time with the child also.
Yes, and ladies, we just have to be responsible with that, or for what we are counteracting. There's a lot of things that, and I know y'all are probably like, well, why she ain't saying nothing against. I agree with what AJ is saying, but it took me a while to get to that point to really understand what's actually happening, and also being in the dating pool, seeing some of these things. Like, I literally dated a man who was an Ahab, and it was terrible. Like, I felt like I was fighting not only was his spirit, fighting, he was like fighting, all of these demons on his own. He was also fighting for his mom's affections. Mm-hmm. Him and his mother would literally talk about his dad. And I'm like, yo, even if we took it out of spirituality realm, I feel like that's against some type of man code somewhere. You don't talk about your dad with your mom. Who does that? You know what I mean? And I feel like all the men that I know, they would have been like, don't talk about my man or whatever, not even on some making excuses for him. Yeah. Sometimes men do, but that's something that I would expect, right? I'm going to look out for my man. I'm going to look out for my dad. But he was like, yeah, look at him over there, being trifling and all this stuff. You don't call your dad,
somebody fed him that. Yeah.
Yes.
Mom
his mother.
Fed him that. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that was just very
if you don't feed them that, if you don't feed your son negative things about his father, he will naturally yearn for his father. He will naturally think good things about his father.
Right.
And that's what's dude name from Migos?
Offset.
Was it Offset? I be getting them mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah. Offset.
So you see his situation with his father?
No.
So his father wasn't there. He hasn't seen his father in I don't know how long. And he was searching for his father. And he ended up finding him. But he was saying, I think it was on Breakfast Club, he was saying nah, I'm not mad at my father. I want to look out for my father. I know he hasn't been there and everything, but that's my dad.
Right.
For somebody to have that perspective, you wasn't told that your father ain't this, your father ain't that, he a piece of crap, this and that, he neglected you, he did this, he did that. It's very rare that you have a son want to look out for him now, because he's going to believe what his mother told him.
Right.
Even with Eric Thomas, right? When he said he realized that his stepfather wasn't his real father, he asked his mother. And he was mad because he felt like my mother lied to me all this time. I think he was 12, 13, 14, something around that. My mother lied to me all this time about who my real father was. And the dude that raised him wasn't a bad person at all. But his father was actually around. He just did not know that was his father.
Right.
And then it took him all the way into his 30s to really sit down and talk to his father. But all that time, he held I don't want to say resentment for his mother, but it was something that was against his mother. He said, God told him, you need to fix that thing. You need to talk to your mother about this thing. And he was like, I don't want to.
Right.
So now he's a strong man. But that right there, that'll make you weak and not want to confront that thing in a woman. That is a piece of the Ahab right there. It's keeping you from doing what's necessary for you to move forward as a man, especially if you know that this is God telling you to do something like that. Now, I'm not saying that he has an Ahab spirit, but I'm saying that is one of the traits of it. I'm not going to confront this woman about this thing. Like this hurts too much. I'm not going to confront this woman that I don't want to deal with my own. And so what that does is it keeps this woman over you. It keeps that thing still has control. As long as you don't want to address this thing, that thing will always have control over you. It's just like forgiveness or whatever. They say it's like you drinking poison and hope it kills the other person or whatever.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, you good. I was done with what I had to say. I just really feel like that's the deficit, right? We keep asking for, well, where all the men at and all this other stuff, but it's just like, it's just a bunch of sisters out here. We all a bunch of girls. Like,
I was raised by, and I don't want people to think like I'm some kind of chauvinist or something. I'm not. And
Why
I don't
would we
want
think
people
that, though?
because of what
What are you about to say?
No, because of what I was saying about men ruling over women and this and that, such and such. Because everybody don't believe with it.
Right, the Bible says.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm glad that you said that because, again, we are speaking from our faith and our, perception of, the faith. But at the same time, if you really listen to what we're saying, it's not saying that, like, because again, like you said, there's the love and the respect, the reverence and the love, you know what I mean? That has to be taken into account. So God doesn't miss, like a lot of women are like, oh, this is such a, what do they call it? It's the patriarchy or it's such a
patriarchal system.
Yeah, patriarchal system.
World, whatever.
But
society.
there's still a level of.
It is, and it should be though.
Exactly.
There's
a balance.
I don't care that anybody feels bad or angry about what I'm saying. It is a patriarchal system, patriarchal community, and it should be. And they'll say, well, it's been like this all this time, and look where it has us. Look where it's gotten us. And I say, do you think it would be better if it was a matriarchal system?
No, but I think that it's important to understand.
I'm not asking you, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem, right? Is like it's almost like we're always pitting. It's almost like we're always fighting, though. From birth, like we are literally always.
That's the effects of
sin. Yeah, one another, like, but we don't see how important the other sex is, regardless. Like
this is the thing, and we're gonna have to go into it.
Okay.
With the whole love and respect thing, right? If you respect me, you have to know that I'm looking out for your best interest. You're going to respect me because it's going to benefit you to respect me more than it's going to benefit. Like, you're not respecting me to make me feel good. Like this, it's reciprocal.
Right.
You can do one
without the other, but it doesn't. It's not the same.
When we're working as a unit the way we're supposed to work, right. I'm loving you effectively, and you're respecting me effectively, and
it's a healthy
we become a cohesive bond. Yes, yeah. We have an effective relationship. Yes. We can actually operate in purpose.
Right. Yeah. A lot of us have been operating in. It's not.
We haven't even
seen. A lot of us haven't seen it yet. Yeah. So we don't even know what to call it.
And see, what I don't want to do, I minister to men. Like I know my calling is to men, right? And I'm always going to hold men accountable first. I'm always going to hold men accountable because we're supposed to be the head. We're supposed to be the leaders. What I don't want to do is absolve women of their responsibilities in this, though. And so, how do I want to put this? This isn't to go back on this topic. It's just what's come to my head. What's came to my head. What we was talking about earlier, right? When, just an example, if you know something's wrong and you're not verbalizing it, what possibly could I do to bring some type of resolve to this situation? Or what possibly can I do to understand? I can't. It's no way for me to connect. It's no way. You want me to connect, but I don't even know that I'm supposed to be connecting right now. Like, how can I? I can't put that on the man when something's wrong at this point in time, because he's genuinely trying to do all he can. But if he's not getting anything back.
But that's if he is genuinely doing all he can. I know a lot of people who will say that, and that's not what they're doing at all. And that's why I think that, again, you have to look at yourself. You have to look at what you are providing to the relationship, because a lot of times you do get caught up in, well, this is what I've been doing. I've been doing the best that I can. And granted, that is true, but it doesn't mean that you've been doing all that you can. It's that you've been doing the best that you can.
See, now you just did it, but because you put that on the man. I'm going to hold him accountable to doing all he can. If you're saying you do all you can, you're doing all you can. But that's why I said I can't absolve women for their response. It's going to start with the man.
Absolving. All I'm saying is this is not me absolving the woman from seeking, because it's a two-way street.
Yeah. All right. So my thing is, so where does the woman? How do we hold her accountable? What is her job in this then? If I'm asking you, if I'm trying to do everything to appease you, to fix whatever
You're
situation
not supposed
this
to fix
is,
it. So that's what I've already told you.
Right.
You are not there to fix a woman.
All
That's
right.
not what you're there for. That's
so how do I
not,
connect?
right. So the connection is, I'm so glad you asked this, because that's all that we need. The connection,
Right.
oftentimes, it doesn't have to be things that you do more than the conversation that you're having. Because again, natural speakers, we want to connect. That's the way we feel like we can connect. That's why we say so many words. That's why when you come in, it's a conversation. Sometimes it's a really good one, like, baby, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? Tell me about what you did today. And sometimes it's, did you take out the trash? Where are the kids? Did you pick them up? What time did you get them? And that's still a connection, though. And that's where I think men miss it. It's not that so the second thing that I said, right, the critiquing and all that stuff, that's when you guys stonewall. That's when you guys become like rocks. Like, I don't have nothing to say. Everything I do, it's like, it doesn't matter to you. You know, it's like, I can't make a decision without you coming behind me, telling me how, you know what I mean? Like, I just messed up the whole day, like that sort of thing. But in our mind's eye, we're just trying to get you to have a conversation with us. We're trying to get you to connect to us. It's not right, though, to do it that way.
Thank you.
That's the
so
accountability. Yes,
that's what I'm getting at right there.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that a
Yeah.
woman shouldn't be accountable. What I'm saying is, you know, that's the part that we have to own. We have to own the fact that, like,
Yeah.
if we are to connect, we cannot put the vinegar out and expect to attract honeybees or flies or anything. You're not going to attract anything with bitterness. And that's the part that you have to work on. We have to work on healing. We have to work on how we talk to people. Like, if the way in which we connect is through verbal communication, then we have to learn how to use our words in a positive manner. And that's actually something that I have literally been working on, you know, for a very long time. Like, since I was in college, as I said to you, I have friends who would tell me, Darah, just because I tell you a story about a nigga that I'm with, about a situation, whatever the case, it doesn't mean that I need you to tell me what I'm supposed to do with it, or tell me how, you know, hold me accountable to what I'm supposed to, you know, what I'm supposed to do in a situation, especially as it pertains to what you would do. Sometimes I just want to tell you the story. Sometimes I literally am calling you because I want to connect in that way and tell you what happened in my day. I don't need you to tell me if it's wrong, if it's right, you know, boo, kiss my foot, whatever. It's a connection.
So this the thing, because we're so linear, like we're waffles.
Yes.
We compartmentalize.
Uh-huh.
Initially, like, it's innate in us. If you come to us with a problem, we want to fix it. If you come to us and you want to vent, you come to us and you just want to, you can start, babe, I just want to express myself, how my day went. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling right now.
Yes, but
Like,
I think, but as I said to you before, everybody is not going to have, and again, you don't know what you don't know, right? So that's important too, and that's where compassion comes in, which
oh, they ain't gonna have no excuse after this.
Right. Yes, if you've heard it, you're put on notice, but you don't know what you don't know, so it's not. I'm not always gonna call you and be like, AJ, I just want to vent. Shut your mouth.
I might ask you.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Because I'm like, look, I'm tired of getting
you
based
then
on.
participating in the relationship, and you can even say, "Hey, not today. Really, don't even have the energy for real. Like, I understand that
I don't know if we could
had."
afford to do that.
Well, you know, listen, if you never try it, it's a conversation that I've had before, because I don't have a problem with ruffling feathers. If I don't have it, then I just don't have it. I've had conversations with, you know, a man that I've dated too, like, where he's like, you know, I've had a really rough day today. Like, I really don't really have anything. And I'm like, bet, because I don't either. But you don't know. And this is not to say that's every woman, because again, I'm not every woman, regardless of what Shaka Khan said. Okay,
Sure not.
I'm not every woman. So if I call my man to have a conversation and he says that he does not have it, I can respect that. I can be like, all right, bet, you know, I would love to have this conversation later. And that to me is a level of maturity that I've come to. I haven't always been that way because, again, if you've always been given what you want, right, it is a level of, rotten or spoiled that you become because you're always used to that thing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I got to a point where, and they said that the best way to learn compassion is to be compassionate to yourself. I learned to look at myself and notice that there are days where I just don't have it, and that was what that allowed me to be able to be easily communicated with about that emotion or about how that person was feeling. Like, be able to take that on. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, I've been there before.
A mirror.
Yeah. A mirror.
Look, right. I'm not gonna say their names. I was talking to.
Brenda, Letitia.
Go ahead, finish.
I'm just playing.
Nah, talking to a couple, right?
Uh-huh.
And this goes along where I'm saying communicate with me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times women don't be knowing what's going on.
No,
But-
sometimes we don't. But we want to talk about it.
But that's what it ain't my fault though. All right, so look, this is what happened.
Uh-huh.
After their last child, he said she didn't like me. Like she was being mean to me, and I didn't even do anything. I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, man, she was just being mean to me. Like she hated me. Like she just despised me after our last child." And I'm like, "Dang, what happened?" She was right there. She heard him saying it. She was right there. She was like, "Yeah, I just didn't like him." I couldn't. I'm like, "Dang, so what did you do? How did you?" He said, "Nothing." I'm like, "What did you do to fix it? How did you make her like you again?" He said, "Nothing, man. I just prayed."
Yes,
He's like, everything
there you
I
go.
did, nothing was working. He said, I just prayed. And then after some months. But imagine this is why I said, when I had my last relationship, I had cried out to God. I was like, God, I'm not ready for marriage.
Uh-huh.
Because I knew that I could not endure that anymore.
Uh-huh.
And he said months after she had their last baby, she was just being mean to him for no reason. And then she eventually came around and felt bad for it. It was like God had to show her.
Yeah.
Months. We're not talking about hours or days. We're talking about months, like the postpartum, whatever you call it. And she was being mean to her husband that has done nothing but loved her and provided for her, protected her, everything. God led her spiritually, everything. And she was just being mean to him for no reason. Imagine. I don't think you can imagine how that feels.
You want me to make sense
No,
of that
I want
somehow,
you-
and
no.
I'm just not going to be able to do that.
You
because
can't.
it's not, again, but you said you don't think, did you say that on here? I can't remember.
What?
Oh, no, you said it when we were talking outside the podcast about how you don't think knowing God is enough. But that's why I think knowing God is enough.
Oh, no, I still don't. But
You have to, if you are married to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard. And that's why I'm going to get to that point a little later. But it is very hard for you to be to take a lack of respect. It's hard for you to be disrespected, but then still show love because that's what a wife requires. But when you know God, then you're not doing it for that person. You're not doing it so that you can get the respect.
sounds
That's the
good.
thing. Right. But that's really, that's
No, I mean,
the,
you're never
that's the way
doing
it's
it so you
supposed
get
to do.
this, but you're doing it because you love somebody. But it's only
But see,
I don't care.
love,
the Pope.
to me, I don't think love is enough.
What? I don't think love is enough
I think
either.
knowing God is enough, but I don't think love is enough. But people don't know. So I think if people knew what love really was, then love would be enough. But I don't think that people really know what love is.
So you think that would be enough? All right.
If people really was about like what love really was, like not keeping records of wrong and all that stuff, like the real definition of what love is.
I don't think that's enough for a
absolutely-
relationship either.
I don't think it's enough because none of us embody it. None of us. I think
But
the
we
closest that you get
exemplified
to
a lot,
unconditional
but-
love is your children. That's it. That's the closest that you get.
I don't know. Well, I don't have children, so I don't know.
I
But
think
I
that's
know
closest.
I show a significant amount of unconditional love to every single person in my life.
But if it's significant amount, then
I'm talking about
I feel
where
like that's nullified.
I'm talking about when I say significant amount, I'm talking about more than just everyday encounters. Like, so what men do, I'm not all men, but men who care, men who love, especially men in relationships, there's a lot of things that we do that go unnoticed and we don't say anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come home and then you get disrespected by the person that you actually been going out your way to help without even telling them, the person that you've been praying for all this time and everything, that hurts.
Yeah.
And that makes you look at them a certain way also. And so let's go ahead.
But what
let's go
I'm
ahead.
saying, the point that I was trying to make is I understand that, like, because there are a lot of things that I feel like women go through too, and while, you know, it's not to say it's not a tit for tat thing, because I think that we are capable of talking about it, though. That's the difference, right? But there are things that we're going through even actively in our homes where we're never going to leave you and we don't feel loved, right?
Well, we hope you never.
But we
leave.
continue to stay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you an example. So I was watching the Black Love series when I was telling you about that.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin on stage was on there with his wife, Melissa. I believe her name is Melissa. And so what she was saying was that they had been married for a very long time, and she had just gotten to a point where she thought, like, she didn't want to end up like her parents. I guess her parents are divorced. So she didn't want to end up like her parents. So a lot of the stuff that he was doing or not doing, even when she had an emotional reaction to it, she never gave it to him. So she never complained. So Kev is like, you know, and she was like, you know, she was obviously distraught by it. Like, she started crying. She's just like, you know, but I just knew that I didn't want to end up like my parents. So I'm like, you know, going along to get along in my marriage and all this other stuff. So Kev is like, well, you know, the whole time he was like, I'm working with all these dudes and like they're like cheating on their wives and all this other stuff. And he's like, well, I'm not cheating on my wife and she ain't complaining. So I must be, you know, he's like, I'm thinking I'm good. The best husband and I'm the best father. Yeah. Right. So he said that, you know, soon she started to address him with the concerns that she had. And he had to recalibrate because he was like, whoa, like now I'm this terrible, you're telling me I'm this terrible husband. Yeah. And it's like, but that's not it. Like, and there just has to be that sort of like calibration and communication. So there's a part that comes from us and there's a part that comes from you. Mm-hmm. And if we tell you though, and I think, you know, at the end, maybe we can, you know, kind of give pointers as to, you know, how to love and or how to respect, and then the ways of communicating it and so forth and so on. But if you tell somebody, you know, how to love you, or you tell somebody how to respect you, the posture is never like, well, this is what you need to do, da 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 da. It's more so like when you come into into a conversation like that, you're really looking to figure out how you can give better. Yeah. Because what you're giving is not enough, or what you're giving is just it's not hitting the mark. It's not to say that you are the worst person though. And I think with him, what he described the most was, okay, that's where I felt kind of like the disrespect, because it was like, you're telling me that I'm this terrible person, but she's like, no, I'm just telling you what's happening or what has been happening this whole time. But the mark that I missed was I hadn't been saying it before. But it doesn't mean that, you know, this whole time you've been doing a great job. Yeah. It just means that I wasn't voicing it. So I say that to say.
So what comes after that, though? So now what?
So he said that he's made a valid point of he had to do some recalibration and understand that this was a new phase in their life. He akin it to the iPhone updates. He's like, you don't really like you get them whether you like it or not, right? It's gonna come. It's gonna come to your phone, right? And he's like, you know, but you have to sit and like figure it out. Yeah. Like you literally, like the same thing that we say at the end of the thing, make it work. So you're not gonna just chuck the iPhone. You're literally gonna be like, all right, so like. Or you could go to the tips and find out. See, the tips would be just having a conversation then with your wife, like, okay, what are you saying? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? And I thought that was a great metaphor, because it was like, it basically showed me that when you are in a marriage, just like you were saying, when you come home, you've dealt with so many things and you feel disrespected when you come into your home, you have to, it's almost like you almost have to have to have that God part, that God portion, because you are, as a human, are not able to handle that on your own. And that's why I say knowing God to me is enough, because I feel like that's who you have to get closer to. That's who you have to, you know, seek. because you're not going to be able to just find it from this person. You're going to actually have to have God deal with that person. You can't do it. There's no way I can manipulate you into telling me, you know what I mean, how disrespected you feel every single day. And that I need to, you know what I mean? Like, I can't, you know, be like, all right, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do an activity to make him tell me. No, it's going to have to be a change of heart or a change of spirit or whatever that's going to come from God.
But
And that's just my idea.
Because we're so typical, like we're not typical, but we're not complicated at all.
Uh-huh.
Like, I can tell you what I feel disrespected by, and you could change that, and it'd be just that.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of times, men and women, we expect it to already be understood, especially with respect, because,
Absolutely.
like you said, respect is something that's so fragile. You can't, when you're disrespecting somebody.
Right.
So like the royals, for example, the royals thing. I know you, so that doesn't. I don't feel disrespected by it. I feel more so like, let me use some different words instead of that, because I know Darah hates when I come on the back end with stuff. She hates when I tell her, hey, I got to tell you something, and I call you 7 hours later or something. Like, we'll talk about it later. I know she hates. So the royals in that situation doesn't bother me. It's the intentional disrespect that men don't like that bothers us to our core. Like,
Right.
intentionally being mean to me for no reason. Like, I got company over, and you come down the stairs with your daggone go to sleep shorts on.
Right.
Like, what are you? To us, that's intentional. That's things that we feel doesn't have to be said. Like, why are you? We're in a whole relationship, and you're on social media like you single.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's to us. That's intentional disrespect. We deem that intentional disrespect. Like, why are you carrying? You are a representative of us.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have to tell you that. Why are you carrying yourself like this? Like, you're playing with me. Why are you talking to me any old way in front of, period? Not even just in front of company. Why are you talking to me any old way, period?
Mm-hmm. Is it possible though? Because I do feel like that's something that we carry. Because that's also something that women. That's how we carry it too. Our thing is, why do I have to coerce you almost? Like, why do I have to, get you to sit and talk to me about our family, and it's our family? Like, why wouldn't you come in and want to, like, share with me about your day? If I ask you how you're doing, like, why can't you just tell me, like, how you're doing? Like, that's the type of stuff that we be thinking about.
Yeah.
And so I guess I want to, because I don't want this to just be one of those episodes where we're just ranting about a thing and we're just talking about,
We
like,
have
how
to
there's a
come
different-
back, because you got to get all that out to be able to address it and come back to it. And
Well, yeah, that's why if I was able to finish, I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that, I just don't want this to be one of those things.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want us to be able to give them, So my question to you would be, how would you advise for men to, in those situations, those scenarios that you gave, whereas their woman is or seemingly disrespecting them over and over again? And how would you expect for them to address that woman?
Oh,
Or what are ways in which they can address those situations?
a lot of men aren't like me. I'm patient, but when my patience runs out, I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna say, I can't take this anymore. I need some space.
Okay.
Because, as we said earlier, there may be some things that even you can't even verbalize. Like, you don't even know why you're feeling that way. The only thing that we could possibly do, if you have the strength, even in God, like, just because you know God doesn't mean you're going to even find that strength in him at that time. Like, you learn patience by going through. You still have to effectively try to love on her, however you see fit.
Yeah.
And this is hard when you really love somebody and you really care for them. What I'm about to say, it's hard. This is something I learned from Mo. He said, don't take it personal, even when it's personal. So for me, it's a little easier than most men, but it's still hard. So, and this is dangerous. So I'm not going to recommend anybody do this unless you're able to switch it back on, like me. Like what I'm about to say, like when I say I have a switch. And it's dangerous because I could flip that switch to where I'm not going to take anything you're saying personal, And so everything is going in one ear and out the other because I know you're in your mood right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the danger in that is, since it's going in one ear and out the other, she can see that and get bothered by it even more. Like, you don't care. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's not that I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's that what you're spitting out, that hurt people talk, that vibe that you're spitting out, you don't want that to get on me right now.
Right.
Because then it's going to be bad vibe, and neither one of us are going to get anywhere.
Right.
And so I was talking to one dude. This was a while ago. This is probably a couple years ago. He said, if I'm upset, if I'm bothered, if I'm something, before I go in the house, I just take time. I take time in my car.
Mm-hmm.
I take time in my car. I might pray. I might listen to some music or something. I calm down so I'm not taking whatever's on me in the house with my wife and with my children, because they don't know what went on during my day. When I come home, my kids are daddy. They happy to see me. They want to love me. I don't want to be like, hey, chill out, get off me. I don't want to bring that bad vibe into the house. And then my wife looking at me like, dang, what's going on with him? And then I don't know what happened with my wife during the day. If she's bothered, I don't want to come in with my bad vibe, and then she's already bothered also. And now neither one of us are going to have a good time when I come in this house. We both going to go to sleep pissed off or bothered, and then the kids see that, and then it's just a whole nother mess.
A cycle.
Yeah.
Ooh, honey, this is deep. In just hearing you, one, I want to say that I think I can understand why oftentimes, we have these little rifts and things like that, because for me, I feel like that whole like sitting in the car thing, right? I think it's essential. I think what happens though is you almost and this is just me speaking from a woman's side of things. So I'm in the house, I'm with the kids, you're in the car, you've taken, extra time, whatever. I might even look out and see that you're in the car. On my end, my thoughts are, I want to know what's going on. I want to be, because that's the connection part, right? So you don't have to give me all of it. But again, I feel like there is a level of toxicity that also happens when that's what you do, day to day, and there is no connection. And that's just me coming from a woman's side. This is not coming from a man's side. So don't try to understand it from a man's side. This is me trying to explain to you, like, if you constantly come home and you have to sit in that car for an hour, and we've never had a conversation, you and I, about what that is, it's still that fragility of the love that we think that you have for us, because there's a part of you that I'm not understanding. Even if I'm the reason why I'm hurting you, I want to know. That's what we're saying to you.
If I sit in the car,
if we're the problem,
yeah,
tell us, because the thing is, it's not the problem part, it's the tell us part. And I think that's the part that men are missing, is like, we just want to know. We need that sort of connectivity. It's not coming in constantly complaining, though. So there is a level of balance that has to happen, which I don't know if a lot of people are able to, find it or whatever the case. And this is not to say that you're going to do it every time. But what I'm saying is, if you find that this is something that happens to you a lot, then what your wife is thinking, or what your, significant other is thinking, your partner is thinking, is, if she's a woman, is that, this is something's not right. Something's wrong in the pudding. You know what I mean?
Do you realize that's the same thing that I was requesting early on?
What you mean?
Like, if something's, we want to know also. Mm-hmm. If something's wrong and we're asking, we want to know also. Is it fair that if I come home from work and I spend 30 minutes in the car, just to relax, calm down, and I come in the house with good vibes, loving vibes, do you really want to pry something out of me and take me back to where I was beforehand?
No, man, that's not what I was saying at all.
But all right, so if I say, babe, I just needed to relax my mind, get the day off me and come in the house, will that be significant?
Yes.
So if
because you're talking to her, but if you stonewall, again, like you said, if you shut down, the issue is the shut down.
Most of the time it's just like, I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, but you can't. So my thing is, if you want to participate in a relationship, that's not going to always be able to be your answer.
That's what I was saying earlier, though.
Yeah, but no. I get it.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, that's yes. Like a woman on the woman's side, it's not okay for your man to be consistently asking you, what's going on, and then you keep telling him nothing, but you're not even like you're not touching him. Like if it's you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I'm not touching you. Like with y'all, it's a matter of like us doing things together, like us participating in life, me taking part in even the interest of your day. Like sometimes we come in and we just, I'll tell you about my day, but okay, now it's time to go to bed. Like,
And that's perfectly fine with me because if I tell you about my day, you probably wouldn't know. You wouldn't have an inch of a clue about what I'm talking about.
But there's an intimacy that lies there. There's a connectivity that lies there. There's something that feels very respectful, and this is something that I'm, from men that I'm hearing about a woman though engaging you about your day. And maybe you just haven't had that. But somebody who actually listens to you about the things that happen in your day, even if I don't even really care. It's not funny to me. Your little jokes that you have with your people, they're not funny.
What if
you know
I don't?
I'm saying?
What if I don't care?
But no, if you don't care, if you don't want to share it, then that's another thing. But I'm just saying, like, there's an intimacy. What?
That's what I was saying. Like if we say I don't really want to talk about it. My day was.
But see, I said there's only a certain amount of times that you're going to be able to have that response, though, before the woman starts to feel away. Because you're not then sharing with her, what's really happening with you.
Nah, we could talk about something else though.
Right, but I'm just
like
I'm just saying that can't always be your answer. That's all I'm saying.
So put like when I leave work, I leave work. I'm talking about mentally everything. That's done deal. Like even when
and I feel like that's a conversation you can have with your wife. Like
I don't think I should have to have that every day though.
No. That okay. So if you were to communicate to me that when you leave work, so you don't be want to talk about work, I'm not gonna talk to you about work. I probably want to hear about it anyway. But as a woman who's trying to engage you, as a woman who's trying to respect you, that is something that I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask you about your day. You can tell me
what? Hold on, I just missed something.
What?
Start over.
What do you mean?
Because I might have heard wrong.
What? I can. So your day. So to me, if all that you can say about your day is something about work, then we don't have to talk about it, right? But that doesn't. Sometimes you have things. We've had conversations where you've told me about your day, and you didn't tell me anything about work. You talked about your conversation with God on the way to work, the spirit that you saw, something like that, like those type of things. That's engaging your husband. That's respect.
That stuff like that ain't. So I get up at 3 a.m. So I get up 3:30 in the morning. I do things that the normal man doesn't do. Like getting up that early just to walk and talk with God, normal man ain't doing that. So I'm seeing things and having experiences that the normal man isn't getting. Like everybody else I work with, everybody else, like 100% of everybody else, they're getting up, getting ready, go to work, not thinking about nothing. It's just straight get up, go to work. And then once we get off, everybody be like, thank God it's time to go. Like we get off and that's it. And then the jokers go home to their wives. So 9 times out of 10, it's almost nothing else that's going on. I'm different. Only because of how I live my life, that I have these other, and I'm single and I don't have any kids. I don't have any responsibilities. So I have time. Like you get off later than me also. So by the time, you get off work and you can ask me, I already done experienced something else besides work. But if I'm just coming home from work, and you're home and you know that all I did today was work. And I'm like, babe, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I don't like talking about work.
Especially if you tell me that. But so when you start off with how was your day, right? You can say, oh, same old, we can move on to something else.
Oh, all right.
But I think that it's a courtesy. Like again, talking about, my last guy, he was saying that, when he would engage with women, what he noticed is like, they'll ask him how his day is, and he'd be like, oh, it's cool. And then they'll just start, giving him everything. Like you don't even get a word in edgewise.
If you don't have nothing.
Right. There's a respect though that comes in though engaging your man, not necessarily talking him to death, but asking him about him.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to that tattoo you wanted to get on Thursday? Like, we want to get that. What's up? That sort of thing.
Like, nah, I'm tired.
Right. And so if we leave it at that, but see, the thing is, don't not talk to us. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Nah, but you know what you could do?
What's that?
You can cater to him in his tiredness without words. That's what'll open him up.
So yes, the physicality of it, and I am going to touch on that.
All right, so
Because men, there is a level of physicality that you guys require, and that's just that, right? Whether it's a touch, whether it's actual sex, there's an engaging that you all need. And, you know, it could be like, you know, let's just get a quickie in real quick. It could be, seriously, or it could be like, you know, rub on me, touch on me, like just, I don't want to talk. But I feel like that's something that you also have to say, though. Like, you do have to open your mouth to your wife, and that's just loving on her. You just have to open your mouth. You don't have to go through a soliloquy of like, you know, this is what I said, I don't want to talk, and you keep on trying to make me talk, and all this stuff. That like, babe, I had a rough day today. I'm gonna just need a back rub. Thank you. Every girl is not going to be okay with that. So I'm not.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is a universal thing, but my thing is, guys, try it. Like, y'all always complain about what don't work. Try it though, because a lot of times, you know, you're trying to
hold up and then try something else.
Yeah, try it and then try something else or tweak it. Like, you know, I had one guy, and I wouldn't date him again. It's not because he's a horrible person, but because it wasn't for me. But this man said, how is it? I told him, you know, what didn't go right with our date. We were just having, you know, conversation or whatever. And he wanted to know. This is not saying that I just went in like, bro, you know what? I'll never date you again because da 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 da. You know, he was like, yo, tell me like what I could have done better. And I was like, what? You know, like, it was weird. It's a very weird question, but it was very mature. Yeah. And I'll always respect this dude for that because he asked that question. It wasn't weak to me. I didn't be like, oh my God, girl, guess what this nigga asked me? Like, I wasn't saying that. If anything, I was like, whoa, like, what you know? And so he was like, nah, because my thing is, you're a dope woman. Mm-hmm. He was like, and for real, like, I would love to have a woman like you. So my question isn't necessarily like how I could change me as a person, but what was it that you know, weren't feeling about the date or whatever the case might be. So I was able to break it down to him. And one thing I said at the very end of it, because I had so much respect for him, was, the thing is, it didn't work for me, but that doesn't mean it won't work for anybody. So I don't want you to necessarily change something about you. It's just not for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you might be a ripe peach. I don't like peaches. And I just realized that by going out with you. I don't like peaches. But you know what I'm saying? But I don't think that there's anything. Yeah, he asked that question. So again, guys, try it and don't be afraid. If this is a woman that you riding for, like the same loyalty that y'all want from us, you can display it too. Like, give a little bit of it. Like, show up, right? So you can say, all right, so I tried that. That didn't work. You kind of shot me down. Like, what's up? Like, help me out. Help me help you. You know what I mean? Because I do think, and this is me talking to myself. It can all just
be so easy.
It could. But this is me talking to myself too. But sometimes when somebody is kind of like disappointed in something that you were just so excited to do, you try to be like, I don't want to talk to you right now. Like, I'm pissed. I'm ready to be petty. But if you really riding for somebody, like, you gonna try to make it work. So asking somebody, especially like that, who has probably seen you completely nude or whatever, because we're speaking about marriage and things like that, whatever, you can ask that woman, like, all right, so I tried that, like, it ain't work. You giving me something else. Like, what's up? There's nothing wrong with going at it again. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with figuring that out.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, so it's on you, bud.
It's on me.
Yeah, did you have anything to add?
How long have we been going? Because I wanted to hit on submission. I think that's a big part of.
I think you can, but I'm not gonna speak on it because I think that should be a whole separate show.
All right, so, well, the brief part of it, you know, the short version of it is, because that is a big thing to men, and I believe that women want to be submissive to men because they say it. I can only go by what you say until your actions show different. But I think that's the number one way that we know you respect us.
Submission.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And how that, we don't have to go into how it looks and everything, but I do want to say this in regards to relationships, right? Especially marriage is a given. What's it called when you about to be married? I'm running out of engaged.
Engagement.
That's a given. It's supposed to be. Even if you are going to be exclusive, this is how we see it, and this is how I see it. Because when men make it official, we make it official in our eyes. I remember you had a discussion where you said you and your ex seen when y'all got into a relationship or when y'all got serious. What was the word you used? Whatever.
Commitment.
When y'all got into a commitment, y'all had two different views of how it should look. With men, this is what I'm going to advise the men. What I won't do moving forward, I will not get into a relationship with a woman that I don't believe I could lead. So, and pride will tell you that because you like this person, you feel like you can lead them, whatever. Pride will tell you that you can lead whoever. You might think because you got all your ducks in a row that you could lead a woman without even understanding who this woman is. Like really knowing the depths of this woman. You have to know, I know my last ex, I could not lead her. That was not the woman that I could lead. Because I knew that it was things that I could not deal with her, that I knew it would render myself ineffective as a leader towards her. So I said, I will not go into a relationship with a woman that I do not believe I can lead, one. And women, do not get into a relationship with a man that you cannot be submissive to. Because what irks my soul so much is to hear people say, a woman will submit to the right man, or a woman will submit. This is mostly women who are saying these things. Women will submit to a man who's leading effectively, this and that. Like, why are you in a relationship with a man that you feel can't lead you? Why are you in a relationship with somebody that you're not willing to submit to? That's my question. Like, what are you trying to figure out now?
Because I don't.
Why would you make yourself exclusive with somebody that you don't?
Because again, we're talking about things that we've seen.
Meaning?
And what we haven't seen. If you don't know how to call a thing, right? Because again, you don't know what you don't know. If I've never seen my mother be submissive to anybody, or if I've never seen, if I've never had to practice submission in my entire life, what makes you think that when you come in my life, Corey, that I'm going to be able to submit to you?
All right.
Sorry.
So why are you saying that then?
What do you mean? That you want somebody to submit to?
What it sounds like, I'm not saying that this is what they mean. What it sounds like is the right man, you're just going to submission is automatically going to kick in, and the woman is just going to.
But that's what I'm trying to get you to understand, and what you were saying, in the sense that I feel like there are a lot of people who didn't, when they first got into a relationship, they didn't know that they could necessarily lead that woman. I think that there's a click that should happen, right? There's a constant evolving, like I said, and that's why I feel like you don't necessarily have to rush into something like marriage, or relationship, right? But I do feel like there's something that does happen within that time where you do find out if that's somebody who you can lead and somebody who you can submit to. But that's also something that you kind of have to have that conversation, or you kind of have to know, because then a lot of people, they're in great relationships and those aren't the things that they're even placing emphasis on. That's not even important to them. Like that whole leadership and submission thing, maybe not even conversation they've ever had.
They might be doing it unconsciously though.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what if you get with a woman who she doesn't even know that that's what she's doing though? I mean, is it really her being respectful to you, or is it just something that she's capable of doing as a person?
Oh, that's none of my business. So, because I can't tell you. I'm not even gonna have this discussion with you. That's why I said I'm going to get into a relationship with somebody that I believe it can be submissive to me. So whether she is conscious that she's doing it or not, that's none of my business. Whether if she's saying like, I'm going to submit to this man, because what I'm putting out there is, fellas, don't do this if you can't lead. Women, don't do this if you can't submit. So if we get into a serious relationship, what I'm going to assume, and I know what you say about people with assumptions, but I'm going to assume that you're willing to submit to me. But what I know about myself is I'm willing to lead you. So what we're going to find out in this relationship is whether either one of these things are true or false. and then once we find out, we'll move on from there. But my thing is this: so when I get into a relationship with you, I'm going to intentionally, because I know what my role is supposed to be. I'm going to intentionally love on you, do all the things I can to make you feel special, to look out, to empower you. I'm gonna do everything I can to lead you. Mm-hmm. And so, consciously knowing this thing now, what women should do when you go into a relationship, however this may look for you. I'm not saying that the man's supposed to tell you what to do and everything, like you walk behind him. I'm not saying all that. But what I'm saying is, when you get into a relationship, you really ask yourself, is this a man that I could submit to? And if it's not, then I don't think I want to get into this relationship right now. I might need more time to really figure out. Because when I do engage in this relationship, I want to start practicing this. Is that making...
No, absolutely. I hear you. I definitely do. I just don't think that that's something that a lot of people are attuned to. But I think that that's so important. And I do think that that's something that runs through my mind. You know what I mean? So I'm not thinking of who I can be submissive to, because I think that because of the way that I live my life and who I am, it's just kind of...
I'm not saying like, can I be submissive to him?
No.
What about him?
No.
Like, nah, that's not what
I'm saying. No. I get it, though. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, and I do think that that's important to know. And I think it does lead back to just kind of like tying it back to the original topic about the love and the respect. I think that, ladies, my thing that I wanted to tap on, so you were talking about the whole submission aspect and the leadership aspect, was my awakening this past weekend, just researching this, is, I think that men are dumb. I do think that men are dumb. Like, and I just have to be honest. Like, I would be straight up. I really think that men make really dumb decisions. And the reason why I think that they do is because it's not what I would do, right? And I have to be honest with myself, right? Like, why did, that was stupid. And I think that other men think that a lot of their boys make dumb decisions as well. But it's never going to be like, I've only heard maybe a few men, like a handful of men, like a couple of men, admit to that. And they'll never do it in front of their friends, which I think is great, right? You don't say things like that to a woman in front of your friends. But with that, like, I think that...
Yeah, we do, though.
Men...
We be like, man, nigga, you dumb.
Like, dumb. Just dumb.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, ladies, with me thinking that, I'm sure that you all share in my sentiments. I think what I've learned in the whole respect thing is it doesn't matter that he's dumb. It doesn't. So we're not supposed to pick out the fact that you guys are dumb. We're literally just supposed, again, because
but I'm glad that you
God,
get it. I'm glad that you get it.
I get it now, because I really was like, oh my, mind blown. Like, you mean to tell me
that all these dudes
if
are
my
dumb?
husband, if my husband's dumb, right? I'm supposed to just walk behind this man and walk into whatever dumb ass situation that he leads me into. And God's like, yep, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. And you're not supposed to.
But when it works out, then what?
So that's the thing, because it will work out because of who God is. So I'm placing so much emphasis on your dumb shenanigans.
Do you realize what that is?
Yes, that's respect.
No, that's the Genesis 3 thing.
What? Genesis 3?
Because you think that this man is dumb. Which
right.
unconsciously means he's not. You're more intelligent. Than you think that you know better than this man. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, the way that he takes you guys works out.
Yeah, because of who God is.
Yeah. And it says you submit to your husband. Mm-hmm. Your husband submits to Christ.
Yes.
You have to trust that. That's why I said, if you can't submit, don't get into a relationship.
And that's word.
If you want to rule over your man, then
yes,
because
women,
good luck.
Women. So. Men, I always say men are dumb and women are crazy. And I do think that we have a reason to be as crazy as we are, right? All the things that go on in our lives and all the things going on with our body every single day. But I think that the reason why that's important is because there are so many women who, again, look at our society, right? And we talked about this briefly. No, we talked about this a while ago, about how there's like women, especially Black women right now, are like the leaders in education, right? We got all these degrees, but there are also they're not married, right? I think that's the importance, right? Because there's so many smart women who are just so afraid of allowing this man to just be the best person that he could possibly be, with all of his faults, with all of his flaws, without, you know what I mean, regardless of what it is. And then we're asking them, but I want you, you know, I'm looking at you thinking that you're dumb and all that stuff, but I want you to love me for me and all my mess and all my craziness and all this other stuff. Again, the only reason why I'm able to love men the way that I do.
Wow, you're intellectually competing with me.
There it is. I'm not competing.
No, that might not be what you're doing.
But I don't think the women are competing either.
That might not be what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That might be how it's being perceived.
Right, that's true.
Like how
because
when women think men are intimidated by them, like women that's really leveled up, they think men are intimidated by them. It's not that we're intimidated by them. It's that we feel like it's a competition now. Like we have to compete now.
Really?
So yeah.
Very interesting.
Because all right, so and it's a lot. It has a lot to do with being secure in yourself. Also,
that's what I was gonna say. I thought it was just because you know, yeah, the leveling up. Like I think.
No. All right. So here's the thing, right? Say you got a guy, and what I do, we make all right money. We make pretty good money for what we do, right? So, say I meet a lawyer or something. She probably killing it. You know, make $1 million a year. Something, I don't know. She making buku money, whatever the big time lawyer's making everything. You know, he likes her, but just how we're wired, like our ego, our whole person, it's like we got to be the providers. We got to be this. Now, something in this man is saying, I need to at least get to where she's at, or more. We need to be. I can't be 100,000 there and she's over here 700,000 there. Like, and especially if you say things like, yeah, I got my master's and I'm doing this. I'm a doctorate in this. You throwing all your accomplishments out there and everything. It's gonna feel like, all right, I need to level up. It's not gonna feel like a challenge. It's gonna feel more like a competition. Like, dang, I'm competing with this person. They might not identify it as that, but that's exactly what it is.
But
and
so
he doesn't want that woman until he.
Right, but, and I'm not gonna ever understand you guys, but so what are we supposed to do? Not get educated?
Ain't nothing you could do.
I mean, that's not gonna.
So, but this is. It's funny that you said you feel like men are dumb.
Yeah,
that's exactly how we feel about women.
Yeah, I feel like I know that, but I don't understand how.
But we don't feel like y'all are dumb. Like,
I think you think that we're crazy.
And yeah, that you're crazy, and like they just don't get it.
Right.
Like, and so there are things that. So, like you said, y'all are talkers. Y'all want to talk. You want to get to the inside.
Right.
You know, and it's like it's things that we can't tell you because we know you're not going to get it because you're not wired like us.
Right.
And we know, like, nah, this just isn't for her. And we do not know how to communicate to you that, babe, no.
Right.
That's how it's gonna come out.
You're
gonna see the gears in our brain moving, trying to communicate. Like, how do I say this? And it's gonna come out no.
Right. It's gonna be like, what you mean no? Like what?
Right.
And then we're gonna start like rapid fire to get something else to come out of you besides no. It's like, bro, like, how you just gonna give me no? Do you think no is like that? And you're like,
but see, the thing is, I can go to my man AJ, and if I communicate this with AJ,
he'd be like,
he's gonna get it. And I can communicate the same exact thing to you.
I watched my cousin and a friend of mine have a full conversation, and they literally exchanged maybe 5 words. A full conversation. And it's funny because
you were sitting there like, what are they talking about?
It was a surprise party where my cousin was about to propose to my other cousin. Yeah. So, they're married now, but he was proposing. He's trying to figure out where we were, how everything's set up, so he can come to the house because everything's supposed to be set up. Yeah. I said, Jason, you think you could call him and just let him know like we good? He was like, yo, yep, cool. And got on the phone. I was like, did you tell him that like we're prepared and he can come with the ring? And he was like, yeah, you know what to do.
You missed all of it. Did he do it?
Yes, everything was fine. Everything went.
And
Stellar. They're still married.
and
Thank Lord.
that's why we're like, yeah, they just don't get it. You just and that's part of that happy wife, happy life thing too.
Yeah, because it's like I'm never gonna be able.
Yeah,
Like, she's
she's
too many
never
words.
gonna
Cannot
get it.
compute.
Yeah.
But you know
But
what?
that's why I want my woman to have friends. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
That's why I want my woman to have friends too.
So she can talk to them.
Yes,
But you don't want them to. Do you want your wife to talk to her friends about y'all?
I trust her too.
But long as she has unbiased or long as what's the caveat? I should ask you because I don't want to put any words in your
So
mouth.
this is the caveat. Now that I know this type of woman exists, this is the caveat. Like, you have a brain of your own,
Right.
regardless of what your friends say. They might have some influence on you, but you're far from stupid.
Right.
And so you know the meat to chew up and the bone to spit out.
Yes.
And so the woman that I can see myself dealing with, she will know also. And she'll know which friend that she can go to with what information.
Yeah.
Like, she's not going to go to her bitter friend that just broke up in a terrible divorce, about relationship advice, because she know that this woman she not going to have any positive outlook on men right now. She's hurt.
Yeah, and I think that comes with maturity too. I think that we do get to a point where we're like, I'm not gonna talk to anybody
Yeah.
about this, or I'm just gonna talk to him about it, or I'm gonna just, like, I'm a journal, or I'm gonna go to my therapist because they're not gonna understand. Like, it's her. I've gotten to that point in my life now where I'm just like,
I talked to my man, right? My man at work was telling me this, and I wrap up because we probably be going. I don't know. My man at work was telling me this. He said, I could tell when my wife been talking to her sister. He said, because
spewing that toxicity.
Yep.
Yep.
He said we had a good conversation, right? Because he said, man, we could be going good. He said, man, she understand me. I understand that we could be going good. Next thing you know, she coming at me sideways, and I'm like, you talking to your sister, haven't you? And she be like, yep. He's like, I told you. She's like, how you know? Because you only come at me like this when you talking to your sister. Like, why all of a sudden you having these concerns? Why all of a sudden, why you have this attitude now? Why you feeling like this? You must have been talking. Your sister done spilled that toxicity out on you.
Yeah.
and he be right.
Yeah. Wow.
But by the grace of God, I guess she started realizing it, and she chilled back on talking to her sister.
But you notice that there was still that connection, though, whereas he said something to her about it.
It took time too, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But again, there's that connection because, again, what I'm not getting from you as my husband, then I am gonna go and try to, like, there's something that needs to be filled in us. It's almost like look at it like a circuit. When you talk to us, you're like oiling. I know this because this is something that I've practiced this week. I'm like, I have to respect him because that's when he's going to show me love. That's when he's going to start to choose me.
Yes.
Like, if I came up to you and I just told you, like, yo, it was something you said, I respected the crap out of it. Like, give you the whole rundown.
What was it? Tell me what it was.
No, it's not something you actually said.
But it had to be something I said. Go ahead.
But, okay, do you remember? You remember the podcast, though?
What?
When I told you about how I see you and you were like, man, I didn't even know that. Yeah. Your posture changed. But this is what I
You
mean.
ain't even look at that jump.
Oh, my goodness. I saw it when I said it. Your whole posture changed. You was like, thank you. Like, it was a whole other person. You get what I'm saying? So I say that to say that you're oiling our parts too. I feel so much better in the way that the man treats me, even when I give him that respect, because you guys will reciprocate that. There's a way that you will act even differently.
Yes.
When you receive that respect from us.
Mm-hmm.
So again, at the end of the day, and I guess we can wrap up, if you have any questions or whatever, at the end of the day, guys, it is important that even when you feel malnourished of whatever it is that you desire, right? That respect, that love, that you then try to, if you are in it, to win it, right? And we want to win. That's what we're here for, the W's. If you're in it to win it, then what you're going to do is you're going to give that person whatever it is that they need anyway. Mm-hmm. It's hard. All right. And I know that your cups are going to be empty at some point. And I'm talking about to that point where you just don't have it. But again, try it. Try it. And if it doesn't work, that's when you like, I surrender. I don't have nothing else. Like I can't.
Yep, that's the going that cross.
But don't walk away. When you walk away,
away.
is that what's in your head now?
Yeah, because you said that. Don't walk away. But go ahead, finish. I'm sorry. You said
but don't walk
away.
away. Yeah, like in order to make it work, it is you have your obedience to God.
Gotta stay.
That's it. You're obedient to God.
You know what song's in my head now?
What's it?
Baby, won't you just stay?
For a little while.
All right, you go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, so
It's crazy you just said that.
weird.
Because what I had, not to go back to the romance piece, but it's going to make sense, is peace and respect is our version of romance. You give that, and that is what's going to get a man mentally and emotionally invested.
It's gonna get him lathered and a little bit of physical too. You gotta put that physical in there. That
So what I left out, what I didn't want to mention,
was the seats.
was because a lot of guys, majority of the guys I ask, when you ask them like how could a woman romance you? Like how does your wife romance you, or girlfriend or woman you're dealing with? The majority of them ended with sex. Like
Yeah, but I don't think that's something you should leave out because I think that that's very important.
I mean, y'all know what we want.
No, and that's the thing. That's the problem.
Y'all know we want sex. Come on, man.
No. So it's not that we don't know that you want sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that
You know
there
that-
is a level of communication that if you want us to tell you, because it does not compute for you, treat us the same way, right? If it does not compute for you, then it's not computing for me. So if you're like, is she dumb? Like, are you dumb? Like, I be thinking that too. Like sometimes, like, are you dumb? But I realize maybe he is dumb. Let me tell him. If I tell you and you still don't do it, then we going. But most of the time, I just assume that y'all dumb.
Don't woo me if you ain't about to drop some draws.
Right. I get that. But say that, though. Say that. Now, I don't think that was crass. You saying that to me, I was like, oh, no. Because, I mean, come on now. Sex is sex. Like, that's what people involve in their relationships. Like, we not 3. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're
Look
adults here.
If we sit on the couch, we laying on the couch watching TV, and and you feel something rise, it's time you got to get romantic. This romantic time we just had, it got to be finished with some sex.
Every time?
If you feel it rise, it ain't gonna rise every time.
But that's beyond me. Again, I
What you was
think
about to
that
say?
no, it's not. That's not important. But I will say though that I think that that should be included in your summation, like the peace, right? So we're Salt Bay, the peace. What did you say? The respect.
Peace
the
and respect.
sex.
Yeah.
Peace, respect, and sex though. So you don't leave that out.
Well, peace and respect is gonna take you a way longer. It's gonna take you farther distance than sex will ever take you.
Yes, but sex is important.
Yeah, still important.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right,
Anything else
so
we need to add, or?
nope, we could go to topic jar.
Topic jar.
The preserves. Watch is gonna be something I don't want to talk
I be
about.
giving y'all a vocal for real. Y'all don't even really be ready for the
Keep
vocal.
giving. Do the humming or something while I'm opening this up.
Because that's in my head still.
All right, looks like the next episode is going to be about emotional manipulation of the sexes.
Oh no.
You right. That's your episode.
Well, here we go.
Yep. This is your episode right
So, real quick, what did you hear me say? And I'll tell you what I heard you say.
here. About what? Because we talked about a lot.
About our topic today. What can you give me some information about, like, what you understand about women? Did you learn anything new?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What did you learn?
Keep trying.
And keep trying.
So I've learned quite a few things.
Okay.
Give
us a...
So one, keep trying, which is going to take a...
When you say keep trying, I know what you mean, but tell them what you mean.
So if she ain't giving you, if she's in her little funk or whatever it is, if she is not giving you sufficient amount of information, to connect with her, to fix a situation, just to be close with her, whatever it is. Just keep trying, even if you're missing. Like, keep swinging. Keep swinging the bat. With my explanation, you made me forget the other thing.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that we are dumb, men, and women are too. So the thing is, we have to have grace with each other's dumbness.
Yes, compassion.
Yes. What did you learn?
DC.
No, there'll be more.
Okay.
What did you hear me say?
I heard you say that the love is in the respect. So it's a Tootsie Roll.
It's intertwined.
It's intertwined, yeah. Like you can't,
Yeah.
you don't, in men, they don't feel like there's any separation of it. Like it's kind of like all in one. Like you
Is it?
can't just
So,
love on me. And,
Respect is our emotion. Is what
Right,
triggers
that's the
our
love.
emotion.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I got. Also, I learned that providing peace and respect will take you the furthest.
Mm-hmm.
But sex is really important. I learned that, sometimes y'all have to, take the armor off before you the scrapes, everything that you might have gone through in your day. Sometimes it takes you a second to just take that off, and sometimes you don't want to bring it into your home, which I think is your level of respecting the home. I think that that's important to know, because some of us, I think we still trying to connect to you, but we're missing that, like, you just don't even want to talk about that particular area of your day, but it doesn't mean that you don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Ooh, so
And
many
with
things.
that, I think it might go into the emotional manipulation. I don't know. With that, what I heard, I could be wrong. You didn't say this, but this is what I heard.
Okay.
With the whole, you come in the house, at least share something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if we're in our feelings, sharing something is more so to comfort you than it is.
That's how you love on us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while the respect is rolled in, our connectivity is the way to
Yeah.
love on us. Yeah. So talk to your girls, man. Talk to your woman. And it's funny because I know a lot of men who won't say things because their woman will explode. But I'm
Yes.
going to say that's really, honestly, that's a communication issue, because you've allowed somebody to disrespect you in the beginning. Like, this is not the first time. Like, y'all didn't get married and then she started to become explosive in communication. You have to tell that woman early on, like, God, you don't get to talk to me like that.
Dog it.
What?
You about to go again.
Go ahead.
I experienced that.
I know.
And so
That's not
it's
okay. That's not okay.
It's not okay.
Stonewalling, though, so disconnecting is what men usually do. Like, I know.
It wasn't the first time though. Like, I communicated, like, look, I don't do this yelling stuff. We can't do this yelling stuff. It's not gonna get us anywhere. We need to talk. If you can't talk like a human being, like a civilized human being, then we're not gonna get anywhere with this. That doesn't. When you have somebody that's what they do. Like, you tell me you want me to talk to you, right? You want me to be honest with you and things. But when I do that, you explode on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tell you, I don't like it when you respond like this. Like, how do you expect me to respond to you exploding on me? And I'm not beating you down.
Right, and I don't think that it's okay. But I think
Yeah.
that's the reason why there's so many miserable
But what
men.
I'm saying is, how many times can I go through that? And then you say you can't stonewall it. And I'm like, after a certain amount of times.
Then you have to, honestly, so this is me talking about the dating part, because this is when you know. So my thing is, don't get married to a woman who you know is explosive in your dating part, and this is a problem for you. Right?
Yeah.
No. You're one of the smart ones. But there are a lot of men who are out there right now who are carrying those balls underneath that arm every time they have something to say to their women,
Yes.
because they do not know how to address her, because she is constantly exploding. My mom was in a relationship like that. My dad used to be a rager.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that she necessarily was doing, more than he was constantly triggered. And the way that he dealt with his unhappiness is he would rage.
We need
He's not that way at all now.
a trigger topic too.
That
we
would
need
be
to work
good.
that. Yeah.
Write that down, Leo. But my point is, y'all can't expect for a person to change overnight. So when you get married to a person who is a rageaholic, somebody who throws tantrums, right? When you marry that person, what you're saying is, I can deal with that. I can deal with your rage. That's not the worst thing that you can do with me. And I do feel like there are some people who can deal with that. People have grown up in households.
Not one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you got out of that situation. You didn't allow that situation to continue on.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is, don't be surprised when she do the same thing that she been doing since the beginning.
Yeah, I agree.
You feel me? Like, if you go, and then, we'll talk on that later. But yeah, so I do think that it's important to see that. Like, again, like you said, you didn't feel like you could lead her early on. You knew that you could not lead her, so you had to get up out of there. That's where a lot of people need to go ahead and push that eject button. But when you already married, you got to figure that out. You got to work it out.
Is that weak?
What, to marry somebody who yells at you?
No, to leave.
In the beginning? No.
Oh, all right.
No, I don't think so. I think, and it's funny because now I'm thinking about something that my ex was saying. He was saying that actually the way that a lot of people process things is when you do take leave, when you show them like, I'm not a pushover. Like, you don't get to do that. And you eject, because now right now we're in a courting phase. This is where I can leave, right? I need to show you that this is something that I'm not going to tolerate now, right? Before we get into something that we can't eject. Well, not that you can't, because some people, do divorce, but that's my point. Like, his whole thing was, and I thought it was a part of being manipulative. But it's really not, now that I'm thinking about it, because you do have that right to tell somebody, like, I mean, I've talked to you. You said that you said something to her. Like, dog, like, you're not going to be able to yell at me. Like, that's not how it's not going to work for us. And it didn't. That's what you told her. So that was a little bit of foresight there. So you saying that, and then you being a part of, like, actualizing it. Yeah, that's not, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when you're married, it's a whole other ball game.
All right.
You got to figure it out.
You better get out of that emotional manipulation.
Right.
Coming next week.
Yes. So we're going to have that new topic, emotional manipulation of the sexes.
So you better love and you better respect each other.
Love and respect, y'all. And we love y'all. Tell them where they can reach us.
Deep Skydiving Podcast at gmail.com.
Y'all.
Deep Skydiving Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok.
Any podcast platforms.
Any podcast platform. All your favorite podcast platforms. Wherever you listen to your podcast, that's where you can find us.
Yep.
So like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Comment,
comments.
Yeah, man. Engage with us. We'll engage back. Probably.
No, we'll engage back.
Yeah. So, love, respect, have peace in your relationships. And if you don't, then make it work.
Make it work.
Or leave, like we just said.
No, make it work. No, make it work. We love y'all.
Peace.